Hi, I've got something I want to talk about this evening that I feel is pretty important, so I'm going to keep this video short in hopes that everyone, farmer or non-farmer, will watch it all the way to the end. It's a subject that I think is really important, and I hope you'll indulge me and watch the whole video. Okay, this is a picture of the rear end of my John Deere Gator, which is a utility vehicle that I use for spraying. I use it for hauling firewood around. I use it for hauling feed to the animals, seed to the planters, and tools, and it gets used almost daily. Next up is a picture of the rear end of my field sprayer, which I use to apply herbicides and foliar fertilizer applications. After that is a picture of my fertilizer spreader, which I use to spread dry fertilizer on the fields with. Then I've got a picture of the combine that I use to harvest all my crops, again from the rear end. Next is a picture of the rear end of the corn planter that I use to plant the corn with. And lastly, a picture of the rear end of the tractor that I pull that corn planter with. Now, these are all very different pieces of equipment. They're all built for certain purposes, and they get used very differently. They're different sizes, different shapes, but they all have one thing in common. If you looked at the pictures, can you tell what it is yet? They've all got this triangular, fluorescent, reflective sign on the back of them. That's not an accident. That's called a slow-moving vehicle sign, or an SMV. That sign is intentionally designed and legally designated for placing on farm equipment and other slow-moving vehicles which are legal to be on the road, but which cannot reach the highway speeds of an automobile. There are highway regulations and codes in every state, all across the United States of America, regulating the usage of that sign and the way you are supposed to drive when you see that sign, just the same as any other traffic sign that you see when you're out on the roadway. That sign means you are supposed to do specific things. You're supposed to slow down to the speed of the vehicle that sign is on. You're supposed to make sure before you pass that you have clearance to the side and to the front to do so. You're supposed to make sure that you never try to pass more than one vehicle at a time, which isn't specific to the SMV. That's general traffic code. But all of those rules and regulations are not what I want to talk about today. That's not the point that I want to make. In the last few days, I've heard about several different accidents with farming equipment. You don't hear about those much when we're all busy farming, because we're all busy farming and we don't talk amongst each other. But the last couple of weeks, in this area, we've been out of the fields because of the weather, and I start hearing these stories, and some of them are horrifying. And I want to tell you that I have witnessed some really crazy and, dare I say, stupid things done by drivers around farm equipment that was on the roadway. I've almost been involved in a couple of very serious accidents because of people getting impatient and even angry because I was out there with a piece of farm equipment. Now, here is the point that I want to make on this subject. The very last place that I want to be on a piece of farm equipment is out on the road. And I especially don't want to be there in front of some guy who's in a big hurry to go someplace and does something stupid or aggressive around me. And I have seen people yell and scream and flip me the bird through the window of their car and do some really incredible stuff, like driving through lawns and driveways to get around me. And I just don't get it. The point that I want to make to you all is that, especially you non-farmers who may get annoyed when you see a piece of farm equipment out there, I don't want to be there. I don't make any money or get any work done when I'm driving that piece of equipment down the road. I'm out there doing that just to get it from the last job I was on to the next job that I'm on. The foremost thing in my mind is getting that thing off of the road. And let me tell you something from personal experience. The minute I pull out there on the road, the biggest worry that I have is that somebody is going to come up behind me at 60 miles an hour, misjudge the distance, or think they got to get around me real fast and do something unreasonable and uncalculated and cause an accident. People get hurt and people get killed because of this kind of stuff. And when I'm out on the road in a piece of equipment, usually I'm going less than a mile. And I've seen people do some really, I'm going to call it stupid stuff when I was around them. And there's no call for it. The minute that you lose because you slowed down and took your time getting past me or just waited for me to make my turn is not going to make you lose your job. It's not going to make you lose thousands of dollars. It's not. But the mistake you might make when you rush around me could cost you your life or me mine or somebody else theirs. So please, I'm telling you, the very last place a farmer wants to be with a piece of farm equipment is out on the road in front of you. So just calm down, back off. I promise you it'll only be a couple of minutes. We're looking for a way to get out of your way. We'll pull off into somebody else's driveway. We will pull off into the side ditch if we can. We will do anything we can do to get you away from us and to get off the road with that piece of equipment because we do not want to be there. That's the point that I wanted to make. Sorry if I got a little excited about it. Hope you found this useful. I hope it makes an impact with some of you people who have done some of those stupid things around farm equipment when we're out on the highway. Have a good evening.